Yo, what's going on with La Familia? It's your man's G-Boy T back with another Division 2 video, and I came to put some sauce on your DZ table about a double shotgun PvP build that seems to have everybody in a frenzy when we meet. But without further ado, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on my YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at G_boy_T. And you can also look up my TikTok under the same name, and I should be there on the top of your engine search bar. Alright, so let's get into the build, shall we? And on the specialization, I am using the firewall. Now, of course, on the firewall specialization, you want to go ahead and put your points towards whatever guns that you are using. But for this build in particular, I am using a double shotgun, so therefore I am only really concerned about increasing the shotgun's damage up to 15%. All right, here we have the med kit that gives your that recovers 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds, which is very critical when using a shotgun because you want to be able to survive at least a little bit when charging at people. All right, 30% bonus armor during cover to cover moves, which is also a good perk to have on your side. Allies deal 10% damage to enemies that are within 10 meters of you, so that helps not only you but also helps your team. On armor break, apply burn to enemies within 5 meters, but of course, this would have been something that would have been great in PvP, but as you can see below, it is disabled in PvP. Man, what a bummer, right? Alright, so let's get up out of there and let's look at the aspects of the build. So, on the shotgun build, of course, we have the firewall. First shotgun that I decided to use was the military inmate 70. The military inmate 70 is just smooth to me. It just has a better shot range than any other gun besides the inmate 70 express. But of course, on this we have 25% weapon damage added from expertise. Then you also have 15% shotgun damage, maxed out damage to armor, and of course damage to target out of covers. And you can also use damage to armor as well. Either or would do, but I seen that damage to target out of cover seems to be more efficient in my case on my playstyle. Talent I went with was Optimus. Man, I wish they would have unhinged on here, but they don't seem to have that talent available for shotguns. Man, would that have been a difference. So weapon damage on Optimus is increased by plus 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine, which means every time you shoot your shell, you gain plus 3% weapon damage the closer you get to zero on your magazine. All right, so I decided to use the crit hit chance for the sight and magazine slot. I went with fire rate, which is 5%, and then you get, of course, 5% critical hit chance on the laser pointer. All right, down to the MX70. It's kind of the same ordeal. 25% weapon damage on the expertise. Everything's maxed out from shotgun damage, damage to armor, and of course damage to target out of cover. Optimus as well, and I'm using pretty much the same setup on the attachments. All right. First piece we're going to is the mask, which is the Coyote's mask. It's an exotic, and of course 15% armor on expertise. Weapon damage is 15%. You got maxed out attributes with crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and crit hit damage mod is all maxed out. So the talents on this Coyote's mask is called Pack Instinct. So you and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. So from 0 to 15 meters, you gain 25% critical hit damage, and on 15 to 25 meters, you gain 10% critical hit damage as well as 10% critical hit chance. All right, so 25 meters, 25% critical hit chance. All right, and you believe it or not, the shotgun, it can reach pretty far. I know people be at disbelief and they be like, "Oh, you're cheating." No, the shotgun actually reaches kind of far. So as long as you got a good little straight, narrow look at a person that you're chasing in DZ, you can definitely hit them from a little distance. You don't have to really truly be up close if they're running from you. All right. So let's go down to the chest piece, which is the zero Fs given. No, it's just zero Fs. I just put that on there. But the core attribute is a armor core. We got 15 expertise on the armor end. Attributes on this is critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage mod. And of course, with the zero else, that's being a named item. This is the perfectly unbreakable. All right, so when your armor is depleted, repair 100% of your armor. All right, now that only applies to PvE. Now in the PvP world, that only applies to a 55% repair of your armor. Okay, so just remember, when you go into PvP, that is not 100% of your armor, it is 55% of your armor. All right, let's go to the next. We are doing the improvised gear for the holster. All right, so the holster, I was using other holsters. I was using like the Bokaros holster, like Grupo and all those things. But come to find out that the improvised holster not only gives me more critical hit damage, but it actually hits harder than the Bokaro's holster. I understand why people use Bokaro's holster, because you're not only getting the armor core, but you're also as well getting the extra 15% weapon damage, which is cool, it's nice, it works. But I was looking for a more heavier hit on my initial output of damage, so this is why I went with improvised holster. All right, of course it doesn't have a actual attribute that comes automatically with it. This is just pure attributes and core attribute gains. All right, so that is at max armor core. You got critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and you got another critical hit damage. All right, so those are the things that I wanted when it came to this build. Let's go to the backpack. We are using the Grupo Sombra. All right, it gives you critical hit damage just for having one piece on. Weapon damage is maxed out. We're looking at another 15% expertise that adds on to armor, and we got critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and another critical hit damage mod. And I decided to go with vigilance. Now, hear me out. I know you can use Adrenaline Rush, Matador, the named item. It gives you perfectly Adrenaline Rush. I get it. You want to have some type of survivability whenever you're going in close combat with the shotguns. But believe me when I say this, I have tested this time and time again, not only through server fights, but also with my own clanmates. I have used not only the Bokaro's holster and the Adrenaline Rush, but after testing them out, I came to the conclusion that even if you don't use the Adrenaline Rush and don't have the vigilance when you get shot, you will still have the same amount of damage when you use Adrenaline Rush versus having your vigilance canceled for being shot. All right, so this is why I just disabled the entire Adrenaline Rush. I figured I would just go for more damage, right? So increase total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. All right, so that's what the vigilance talent does. So if you get hit, keep in mind you will lose that extra 25% weapon damage for up to 4 seconds. All right, so that's why you want to try to be as best aim as possible and be as vigilant as you can whenever approaching enemies. All right, but you will still do incredible damage without the vigilance talent being proc for those 4 seconds. All right, so let's go down to the hands, which are the NBC gloves, brand set Seska, and that gives you critical hit chance. All right, just for having one piece on. You get the armor core that I put on there for the PvP purposes. You got the 15% expertise, of course, and then you got critical hit chance and critical hit damage. All right, now last but not least, we have the Fox Prayers, which is another named knee pad. All right, this is in the Overlord Armament brand set, and it gives you plus 10 rifle damage, but that is not something we're looking for. We don't really care about that. We're mainly looking at the 8% damage to target out of cover with the 12% critical hit damage and the armor core that I chose to put on this build. All right, so with that being said, you not only have the 8% damage to target out of cover, but with your shotgun you have 10% damage to target out of cover, which leaves you with 18 total. All right, with damage to target out of cover. All right, now skills I decided to use on this build is the Defender Drone. I bumped it up, the damage reduction with 14%. My expertise is up to 14. As you can see, PvP damage reduction is 11.9, and of course outside of the DZ is 23.8. So the more you expertise this thing, the more damage reduction that you can receive while fighting other agents in the DZ. I also put a damage reduction mod on there. It's not maxed out, but it does give me 5% damage reduction and the other one is the duration. It's 6.7%, and the +2 extra bombs. That does not affiliate with this build. All right. So the other build
Could use some more crafting materials.
that I decided to go with was the
Really should make
decoy.
myself a nice comfy chair.
This skill here is a decoy. It's the distraction decoy. It creates like a projection of you basically, and you're a threat as the decoy. So it basically draws attention away, especially if they're using aim assist. It'll make them pretty much automatically aim at your decoy, especially if it's right there next to them, and they'll have to get off of ADSing, which is just means aim down sight, and they'll have to stop aiming at you, which gives you more time to get back on them, right? And them trying to find out where you at by tracking you. It leaves at 112 on the threat. The higher the threat, the more it will pull, the agent you're fighting aim towards the decoy. All right, so I got that up at 12% on expertise, and I'm also using health as one of the mods, and 7.5% duration to try to help it stay up a little longer. All right, so the pistol, you can use whatever you want. I decided to go with the firewall 2 as well because of these cluster grenades, which are very handy in DZ. All right, so with that being said, this is the build. If you have any questions, like concerns, just hit me up on YouTube. You can comment below. And don't forget to pay attention to this gameplay I'm about to show you. Please understand that these videos were put on here purposely for the people who said my shotgun wouldn't do a thing. And these are some people who say they are the best. So without further ado, enjoy the gameplay video. GBoyT out. Come this way, come this way, come this way.
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, got the headshot, bro. Crazy, bro.
Oh. Get out, bitch. Get with me. Get with me, nigga. Who got the shotgun? Come here, bitch. Get with me. Hey, push right first. Push right first. by yourself, nigga. Bye.
Oh, oh my god, that was...
What you thought, my boy? You thought you was gonna flip me? Bitch ass down, nigga. I'm upstairs flipping these things, bro.
Damn, how the fuck am I getting both inside the building?
That's a lot of them guns. Yeah, dick. Fuck you doing? Come here. Get your bitch ass down. I got my touch. Out there. Come on. Bakit ang
Alright.
Sit down, nigga. Just sit
Wrong
here, bro.
as wrong as it.
Nigga, bro. Sit down, nigga.
Huh? She
Sit down. Stop playing with me, nigga. Sit down, bitch. Nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga. Sit down. Sit down, bitch. Sit down, bitch. Sit down, bitch. Sit down, bitch.